Hi, I'm Diane Yang. I work here at Labellevie for, forever. Probably 5 years pastry chef here, but I've been with Tim, who's the owner here, since 2001, so it's been forever. But I worked at his restaurant Solera, and then I was pastry chef over there, and then now I'm here. Originally from Rhode Island, Wisconsin. And I'm in this field. I think I'm one of those lucky people that just made it somewhere, I guess. When I was done with high school, you know, they have those commercials, the La Corner Blue commercials. I guess it got to me. I was working at those sushi kiosks, and I always saw Byerly's cakes. I'm like, those look so pretty, I could do those. And then this commercial came on. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go to culinary school. And I actually did. And I didn't know what to do after that. I'm like, now I paid you all this money for school. I asked the chefs, I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I just wanna work with the best people that the city has. They're like, okay, go intern at Labellevie. And I did, and that's when they introduced me to good food. They introduced me to everything. I hated oysters, I hated asparagus, I hated broccoli, olives, risotto, everything. And for some reason, just hanging out with them, and they're teaching me food. Like, I wanted to do desserts, but I ended up doing went culinary school and did food. And I was like, I really like the plate of desserts. Who should I work with? You know, and they directed me into Adrienne, she was at Aquavit here in Minneapolis, and I went to work with her, and everybody's like, aren't you scared of her? I'm like, what are you guys talking about? But I came prepared. The Labellevie chefs told me, like, go prepared, take all your utensils, da-da-da. Always, yes, chef, don't argue. I'm like, okay. And I was like this little stupid kid out of school, went and staged, and out of like 10 people got the job. And then when she came to Solera, she took me along, and ever since then, I'm just like, okay, I'm here. Somehow, I don't know, there's so many times I'm like, I need to quit, I need to find a new job. I can't do this forever. And then like I get really angry, and I come to work and I plate, and I'm like, this plating makes me happy. I'm plating my dessert. I'm like, oh, this looks so pretty. Okay. And I'm like, maybe this is for me. I don't know. I feel like sometimes I'm just like going up and down on it. But maybe it's me, maybe it's not me. But so far, I'm making it work somehow. So yeah, so far, right now, I'm doing it. I might be different from everyone else. Like, I think of, first off, everything here is seasonal. I try to stay seasonal as I can. So when I'm coming from a menu, I'm thinking about what's in season. I would make it this whole list, and I'm scribbling. And then I think about what goes together. And once I can figure out all the flavors, like I wanted, like the intermezzo. I want it to be, it's supposed to be light and cleansing. So I wanted to do apple, but then it has to be refreshing, so I decided to do a lime foam. But then the tuile, the garnish, you know, it's supposed to clean their palate, so you didn't want anything too heavy. It has to just basically melt and clean your palate, the whole point of the intermezzo. Usually that I would want to plate, like round, you don't want to put on a round plate. Rectangle, you don't. But here, you know, I went to the store and saw these glasses. They're tea lights. But, you know, they're gorgeous and everybody loves them. And they're, you know, for something that's just an intermezzo like this, I thought it'd be perfect for it. So. Yeah, but the plating also goes a long way with how, like if I plated this in a rectangle, it would be totally different. It wouldn't have the same effect of this. If there's height, there's gotta be height. If there's height, or if there's something, there's gotta be something exciting on it. So a lot of my dessert, there's gotta be like some kind of height on it. And that kind of, because when people see height, they're like, oh my God. You know, and that's what we're shooting for with that, but it's just an apple chip. But as a visual thing, it comes out to me, you know, like. But if I didn't have this, I would have plated it in a round bowl, like probably a soup bowl with a nice rim, like a thicker rim or something. But yes, when I do think about how I plate, I do think of the plating too, like. The plating has a big role of how my finished dessert is. I taste it. Tasting different components is different from tasting a whole. everything I do, I taste it individually and I taste it as a whole. I taste it and I have 2 assistants and I have them taste it. And usually, somebody would be like, duh, and I'd be like, and I get mad and I'm like, okay, this person's right. And I change it, But there's a reason why someone would say that too, but it's just hard because you spent so much time working on it. They're like, I think it needs to be sweeter. And I'm like, I think you need to be quiet. But then if you have 1 person out of 5 that's saying that maybe, it's time to retaste it and redo it again. But a lot of the people, and I usually when I do tastings, before I put it out, I usually only give it to the people I trust their palate too though, so. I trust our palates in the back, and then when it goes out the first night, I'd ask servers, I want feedbacks. And usually they're good, yeah. So, and then if they're like, this person is not eating this part of it, they're shooting aside, I'm like, okay, maybe I need a different garnish, maybe they're too scared of it, Like the cheese I had before, I had a cheese, it was a little bit too, it was a stinkier cheese. So people were just like, the combination, it was just like, I liked it, but then the fact of knowing that it wasn't making other people happy, I got irritated. So I changed it to that.
Inspiration.
We do a lot of savory. I incorporate a lot of savory into my dessert. Everything needs a balance, and there's always salt and everything, cookies, you're gonna need salt. It's that balance. We do a cheese course here. We're in charge of cheese course, cheese selection. So this is our new cheese course. It's quince. So it's a Brune de Noix. It's a cheese it's a raw cheese that's, it's a walnut wash rind. And so I paired it up with some walnut praline. We have some quince confit. Quince confit is basically quince that's cooked in its own juice. So I cook it, so the quince, before it's cooked, it's white. It's almost like a pear-like. But when you cook it in sugar just long enough, it turns into this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful orange color. And that's what we're shooting for. The cheese is then wrapped in a little pâte fouille, is a jelly. It's a quince jelly. So basically I make the quince, I puree it, turn it into these sheets, and then I roll the cheese in it. You will have a balsamic vinegar reduction. Those are the dots. And balsamic, I blended up some powdered sugar and made some sheets, balsamic sheets out of it. So there's a little crunch. Everything, my desserts and everything, I try to have texture too. There's got to be a crunch, a soft, a sweet, a savory, a kind of bit of everything if I can incorporate it. So here you have the tempered cheese with the crunchy walnuts, a little balsamic, just a balsamic 2-way so they can have the reduction and the sheet. Quince 2-way too. So every different aspect, if you think of it, there's you have different composed ingredients. This is a chocolate cremeux. I'll give a definition after I explain. Chocolate cremeux with Morello candy cherries and chocolate soufflés. You have crispy cherry meringues on there also. So chocolate cremeux is basically, it means creamy. What is sitting on right there, this block right there is basically chocolate, basically a chocolate custard. It looks like it's hard, but when you dig into it, it's actually soft. It's a lot of my desserts are not too sweet also because I'm not a big fan of that, but it has a cola sherbet on top. And the cola sherbet, when you eat it with the chocolate and everything else, it's like chocolatey, but then it cleanses itself off instead of sometimes when you eat something chocolatey, I hate it because it's so sweet and it's just shoots right up to your brain. I mean, some people like that, but the cola sherbet basically cleanses your palate. The candy cherries accompany the plate by tart. Cherries out of season, but then, when fall hits, you have the dried fruits. You have dried apricots, dried cherries. So what we did was, these cherries are from France, and basically cooked them in cola. Cooked them in cola, and then just reduce it down until they're nice and tart and sweet. You have crispy cherry meringues, just egg white powder, cherry puree, whipped, piped, and dried in the dehydrator. You have chocolate soufflés. Normally chocolate soufflés, you will butter the mold, whatever you use, and sugar it. But instead, we just piped it into these domes without no butter or pan spray or anything. So it rises up and it sticks. It doesn't have that lubricant to fall back down, so it's nice and whole when we pop it out. And I dusted it with some cocoa nib powder, the shells from the chocolate, ground it up with some powdered sugar and dusted it for color, just so it's not all brown, but has a little contrast on the plate. The chocolate spirals are basically tempered chocolate that we spiral into ice water. So like once you spiral in, it hits the ice water, it freezes. It gets cold and it stays like this. And it'll be good like that for a few days, and then it'll start to get really fragile and you can't pick it up anymore. This dessert was inspired by when I first came up with this dessert, this lady who sells chocolate sold us some chocolate. She wanted to do a dinner here. It's called Chihuahua chocolate, and I'm like, whatever, I don't want to see her, blah, blah, blah. Turns out it was actually one of the best chocolate made in the world. It was really expensive, and it was probably one of the best chocolate I've ever had, and she wanted me to, we had like 5 course, and she wanted us to use this chocolate in each course. The last course was dessert, and I'm like, what can I do where I could not mess up the chocolate flavor, where I could just keep it still, because it was such a delicate, expensive chocolate. I just wanted it to keep it whole. And so I'm like, I want a ganache, but I wanted something where it's still whole. So I came up with this recipe, and it was too chocolate, and I don't know why. And then I was like, what do people like? And Melanie, my assistant, came in with like cherry cola, popped it in. I'm like, I wonder if like we could cook cherries in cola. And then like we did it, and I'm like, what if we did a cola sherbet? Has anybody done that? No, we did a cola sorbet. I'm like, oh, it's too icy, I don't like it. I'm like, what if we added some like half and half and buttermilk? And we did and tasted it, and I'm like, hey, that's pretty cool. So we ended up with this. I needed a cake with it, and I'm like, I didn't want something that to take away from the chocolate, something also light at the same time, because the chocolate was so heavy already. And then we came up with the souffles that was still light, and then the crunch from the cherries. That's kind of how we came up with it. It was funny, the can sitting there, I'm like, why don't we ever do that? Because Coke has this cherry Coke product, and I'm like, but it's fair because I don't like to drink Papadon, and it actually turned out really good. So.